So Elon Musk and Donald Trump are absolutely getting crushed in the trade war against China, and their plan is to drag us all down with them. That's the subject of today's video, and this is what Elon Musk is tweeting out just a couple days ago. We need to shift people from low to negative productivity jobs in government to high productivity jobs in manufacturing, as well as mining and refining of materials. Basically, Elon Musk wants to fire you from whatever government job you have and send you to the mines. That's his plan. And when I mentioned this the first time around, people were saying when you say something like send someone to mines, it kind of means send someone to prison, that sort of, connotation. There is Trump just a couple days ago restarting the coal plants, right? The idea is to send everyone to the mines and manufacturing. And today it came to a head we're talking about lithium today. This is Elon Musk, and he's got this account that he interacts with a lot named Mario Nawfal, and they're talking about rare earths aren't rare. China owns the refining, not the mines. So basically, Elon and all his buddies now are calling to refine lithium and other rare earth materials in the USA, etc. This is what Musk is saying just a few minutes ago. Important to note that what matters is the ability to refine rare earth elements, which are not actually meaningfully rare, and manufacture magnets for use in electric motors. People understandably tend to think that rare earth mineral deposits are what's scarce. Given the name, that is false. They're everywhere. As with lithium, that what China has that others lack is the heavy industry of refining the minerals. So I just want you to kind of see what's going on. Basically, our concept of our economy in the USA is that we export low-paying jobs, we export labor, we export manufacturing to other places, and we export pollution. So, for example, when China, if they do indeed control the lithium mining and other things like that, I think that's something like 90% of the world. And in that nature, there's a lot of pollution that comes along with it. That type of pollution, actually, I live here in Korea. We actually see it come from China. And sometimes it gets as far as Japan as well. So it's actually a major issue here, air quality, air pollution, when the wind does blow the right way. And I'm just telling you that it's real. And part of what Elon Musk has been running for a long time is effectively a green scam. Now, I'm not against alternative energy. Actually, I'm all for it, but I want us to be honest about how it's done and where it's done. There is a short story, which is, I studied this one in college, and if you guys don't know it, it's called The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas. There's been several variations of the same story, but the basic idea is, what would you do if you live in, say, a city, a paradise, but every year you have to sacrifice some of your people, essentially what it is, or torture someone in prison. And every year some people don't want to be a part of that system and they walk away. I actually wrote my book called Positive Angle, and I mentioned part of this topic in my book, where basically the pursuit of wealth isn't everything. That's just my opinion. Some people disagree. Some people say, I'm fine with getting rich, even if I have to dirty part of the planet or put someone in effectively like the mines, effectively, as long as I can benefit. And everyone has a different conscience on that. So like I said, I have a different opinion. Elon Musk have a different opinion than me. And this is what we all have to decide. And this is just what I want to bring to light, because I think the discussion that we're having right now in USA regarding the trade war, where do we have manufacturing, is actually a really important topic that a lot of people don't think enough about. It comes to a head because just recently, you can read the headline, it says, China halts critical exports as trade war intensifies, right? So China has basically the materials and the refining to make Elon Musk batteries, the things that he needs. And in this trade war, China can just decide not to send it. It's like literally, right there. If you read more details about this, they're talking about magnets and stuff. It says, China has suspended exports of a wide range of critical minerals and magnets, threatening to choke off supplies of components central to automakers, aerospace manufacturers, semiconductor companies, and military contractors around the world. And so part of the discussion and what we're fighting over is things like what's going on in Greenland, and also too what's going on in Ukraine, because the idea is like, hey, we'll refine the materials that we need there to build Elon Musk robots and batteries and stuff like that. He talked about this stuff before. This was in 2022 with David Sachs. Elon Musk said, David Sachs says, if this year proves anything, is that there can be no security without energy independence. Elon Musk says, absolutely. And lithium batteries are the new oil. So for me personally, I hope we can develop more wind, solar, or something like that. And I hope we can conserve energy more. Okay. That's something that we don't talk enough about in the USA. It's very frustrating for me. And whenever I mention, say, hey guys, we should be developing something like mass transportation, we should ride bicycles, we should also walk, right? People like Elon Musk would absolutely, hate these kind of suggestions because remember, his builds his money from selling you a whole bunch of cars that you don't need. I'm just giving you an alternate way to think about the world instead of like, hey, let's build lots and lots of electric cars. How about we figure out a system to where we don't need cars? And I told you guys about this before. Say in Paris, they're banning cars there. Or like, for example, many people these days can actually work from home. Elon Musk is staunchly against work from home. They'll come up with all these reasons why you got to come in the office, but basically it's using a bunch of energy that we don't necessarily need to be using because all of these things are great. Because I understand we do need energy, right? But how can we come up with cleaner ways to do this and also to cut back on our consumption? This was an issue, like I said, this was something that it was interested to my generation when I was in college. I'm Gen X. But I don't know about kids today. I can't speak to that if kids in high school today are concerned about the planet and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm not around them. And you guys can let me know. But I know at least my generation, Gen X, that was like a really, really big issue. Elon Musk says in 2025, this is in January, lithium is very common throughout the earth. Refining capacity is what matters. That's why Tesla is building a lithium refinery in Corpus Christi. Now, Elon Musk wants to dissolve the government, wants to fire as many people as he can. He always complains about regulations because from Elon's point of view, he wants to mine wherever that he can. He wants to dirty your air, poison your water, these kind of things, steal your water, steal your power, so that he can make more money. And he always pretends like he doesn't care about money. If that were true, he wouldn't be a billionaire, right? He would have given it all away at this point, but clearly he cares about money. And this came out also that when he was tweeting that tweet you just saw. This is from Bloomberg. It says, Musk's massive Tesla lithium plant hunts for water in a drought-hit Texas, right? So you're building this thing, refining lithium that requires a bunch of water, and you're trying to build it in a place that doesn't have water. It's kind of ridiculous, but that's what Elon Musk does. Let me read a little bit of this so you guys can get a sense of what we're talking about. It says 20 miles outside Corpus Christi, Texas, an area so dry the local water company distributes shower timers at high school football games, right? So they're trying to conserve energy. There's not enough. The world's richest man is nearly done building a lithium refinery that could require as much as 8 million gallons of water per day. That's to build his batteries and such. And if you read through this stuff, they kind of lied to the city about how much water they're going to use. They're like, oh, well, maybe we're going to use 400,000 gallons. And it turned out, oh, maybe we're going to use 800,000. And it's like, well, now you're going to be using millions of gallons, right? So that's why I mentioned that first one where it says now we're up to, 8 million gallons of water per day, which is really a lot different than the 400,000 that they first estimated. You also have this from Columbia University, right? The paradox of lithium. And remember, Trump and Musk are always attacking universities. They want to kick out as many people as you can. They want to cut funding because they don't want anyone to actually know what they're doing, and they don't want to educate the populace. My opinion on this stuff is, guys, why we need universities. You want people to do independent studies. You want people to find new technologies. You want to find cleaner ways to do said things, right? You want to do things the right way, and just knowledge for the sake of research and knowledge, I think, is a good thing. It turns out lithium, and this is basically the green paradox, is they say, hey, maybe we're going to get cleaner air with our electric vehicles, but the way that we make said vehicles may be damaging the earth in other ways and in other locations. So that's why I was saying when we do these trade deals with China, Vietnam, or whatever, we're exporting our pollution, essentially, is what it boils down to. And for those of you who are familiar with lithium stuff, you probably know this stuff already, but it's still important to talk about it because a lot of people that haven't really thought about it this way, they think, oh, electric car clean, but I just want you to think of the fuller picture, like the full supply chain. Here's a description from Columbia University that says, at the time, however, the long-term effects of burning fossil fuels were unknown, whereas today we know of highly negative aspects of lithium extraction on the environment. They also mention here, together with the powerful curative and palliative qualities of lithium on the effects of climate change, it is necessary to consider the potential side effects and to communicate them in a transparent manner, which I think is a very reasonable thing to say. These side effects include use of large quantities of water, related pollution, potential increase in carbon dioxide emissions, production of large quantities of mineral waste, and increased respiratory problems. alteration of the hydraulic cycle. And I told you guys when I said, Trump wants to bring back the coal mining and that kind of stuff, and immediately people started saying, well, the big problem with that is like black lung disease, black rain, these kind of things. It's just not clean. And this is a big issue. How can we figure out a way to have clean alternative energy that's also sustainable? And many companies, they fear this stuff because they always want to produce a profit. It's also driven by Wall Street, these kind of things. And Elon Musk will always say, "Oh no, I'm doing things the right way, etc." And he'll always complain about the press because when the press calls him out. So for example, just 3 days ago, I talked about Memphis before several times on this channel. This just came out from CNBC. It says Elon Musk XAI is polluting air in Memphis. Surprise, surprise, right? Using more gas turbines than permitted, advocacy group says. And effectively what it is, and this is sort of what I was warning you guys about before. I made a couple of videos about this topic, but this is something that we've known about for a while. It's not something like just out of the blue. Basically, he wants to build his data centers in Memphis and other places. They're often lower income areas. Black and brown dominated, not dominated, but I would say that's where residents live, black and brown residents live there. So, you go to poor minority communities and take their power, take their water. That's basically what it boils down to. But that's who Elon Musk is. That's how he thinks about it. He's like, well, if I have to sacrifice a few people to get my awesome, Mars rockets and build my awesome AI, then so be it, because we make all of our shareholders, money, etc. And so right now the fight, and it is a philosophical debate, is if we want these batteries and stuff like that, like where are we going to get said battery materials? How are we going to refine it? Is it clean, not clean? Hey, I'll just do it in Texas where they don't have any water because all the water belongs to me because I'm Elon Musk, right? Like, I just want you guys to understand, or stuff like where Elon Musk says, hey, I'm going to send all these people to Mars because, Mars is awesome and give me all your, tax dollars so I can live my dream. I'm not going to go, but I'm going to send you because you're my guinea pig. And, I get frustrated when I talk about this stuff because for the Elon Musk fanboys and fangirls, all they think about is, well, Chris, you're just dumb. Elon Musk is rich. That's what it boils down to, right? They think rich must equal righteous, rich must equal God, and we're all about the pursuit of money. And that's why I go back to, in my generation, Gen X, we actually cared about the environment. I don't know about what people think today. I don't know. I can't speak for the high school kids of that generation. You guys can let me know if you're around them. I just, it's sad. And then now we're fighting over, which people we're going to exploit. Do we want to exploit the American people, right? Or do we want to exploit Chinese people, et cetera? And it's something that weighs on my mind all the time. I think it's important to treat people with respect. I've lived in China. I've lived in Vietnam. I know how the working conditions are. And it's just something I care about. But again, it depends. Some people walk away, some people don't. And that's why I brought up this short story. If you haven't read it, you can check it out. It's called The Ones Who Walk Away. So anyway, I just want to get some stuff off my chest. Want to hear your thoughts. What do you think about the whole lithium thing? What do you think about Elon, electric vehicles, and the cleanliness of green energy? And where do we go from here? My opinion is solar and wind, and hopefully find other ways to do this safely. And I also know, I acknowledge, maybe even solar may not be as clean as we think it is, right? So perhaps maybe the Netherlands with their wood windmills is the way to go. Anyway, I do appreciate your time, everyone, and catch you all in the next video.